Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, LiveLoveCrochet. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cardigan. I call it the Grandpa Cardigan. It's front post double crochet, back post double crochet. Also we have double crochet in with that. So let's find out what we're going to need. So for today's video we're going to need a 4mm hook, a pair of scissors, 4 buttons, a measuring tape, 4 stitch markers, and a needle to sew in your tails. Also we're going to be needing a yarn of your choice. This one doesn't have a label. It is DK 100% acrylic and 100 grams. Obviously there's not 100 grams here, but this is the one that I'm going to use. So I'm going to show you now some measurements. So here we have the chart with all the measurements on. We have newborn, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 9 to 12 months, and 12 to 18 months now. So we've got head, chest, yoke, and sleeve, and the measurements to go with those. So if you want to write these down, just pause the video right here. And then we have our yoke sizes. So there we are, you can see them all now. So we have all the sizes, and what we're going to do is the middle number is for the amount of chains we're going to need. So the amount of chains we're going to need all relates to our head circumference. So whatever measurement we have on there, so 30 centimeters for newborn, so you will do your chains, so 42 chains. See if your chains are 30 centimeters. If they are, this will be your yoke size. So I'm going to do a 3 to 6 months, which is 37 centimeters. So I'm going to probably skip the first 3 as I use the 48 for the newborn. So skip those 3, and then I will firstly do the 52. If that's not big enough, I'll do the 56, and so on until I get my right size. So I'm just going to get my yarn now, and we're going to get started. So I have my yarn and my hook, so I'm going to put a slip knot onto my yarn, and then I'm going to start chaining. So I'm going to start chaining until 52 chains, and then I'm going to measure. So whatever measurement you're starting on, you make those number of chains, and I will meet you back here when I have 52 chains. So I have my 52 chains, and now I'm going to measure. So I'm going to start, put my end at 0. I'm going to give it a little pull, which only comes up to 34. So I am 3 centimeters off. So then I'm going to chain another 4 to get to 56. So 53, 54, 55, and 56. And then I'm going to see if this is long enough. So with a little bit of a pull, I reached 37, which is absolutely fine. So my yoke is going to be 56. So then what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 more chains, 1 and 2. We're going to double crochet into the 4th chain. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. and those chains that you missed at the start are going to count as double crochet. So now I have 2 and I need 7, so we're going to go with the first bit of our cardigan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So there I have my 7 double crochets, and now we're going to need a stitch marker. Sorry. We're going to make our corner into the next chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 3 double crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1, 2 and 3. Now we're going to place our stitch marker into the second stitch that you have just made into this. So we've got 1, 2 and 3. We're going to put our stitch marker into the second. So then I'm going to move on to over the shoulder of the cardigan, which is 11. So 1, 2, and I will meet you back when I have 11. So I have my 11 double crochets, and now we're going to make our next corner. So 3 double crochets into the same stitch, working into the next stitch after your last double crochet there. So 1, 2 and 3, and then place your stitch marker into the second stitch, the second double crochet from your hook. And then I have 16 double crochets, so into your next chain make your double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and we'll meet you back here when I have 16. I have my 16 double crochets. Now we're going to make a corner again. So again, 3 double crochets into the same stitch, marking the second stitch with a stitch marker. So into my second stitch, and now we are moving on to our over the shoulder for the other side. So again, that's 11. So then that is 1, 2, and I will meet you back here when I have my 11. So again, I have my 11 double crochets into the next stitch, 3 double crochets for your corner. 1, 2 and 3, marking the second stitch from your hook with your stitch marker, and then going to finish it with the 7 double crochets. And if you've counted your stitches correctly, you will have the right amount of double crochets. If not, you may have made a mistake and counted too many here, so just go back and have a look at your work. So 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is what you should have at the moment. So this is going to be the back of your cardigan. This is going to be over your shoulders, and this is going to be the front where you put your buttons. So what we're going to do next is chain 1, turn your work. I'm going to make a double crochet back into that stitch, and we're going to make double crochets until we get to our stitch marker, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I've reached my stitch marker. Now you're going to take your stitch marker out, and into that stitch we're going to make another 3 double crochets all in the same stitch. 1, 2 and 3, and as before we're going to mark our second stitch away from our crochet hook. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to double crochet until the next stitch marker, and into the next stitch marker make 3 double crochets and mark your second stitch away from your hook, double crochet along, 3 double crochets, mark your second double crochet from your hook, and do the rest until you reach the end, and I will meet you back here. So I'm now at the end of my row, my double crochet row, and this is what you should have. So for the next row we're going to chain 2, and this is going to be the row for front post double crochet and back post double crochet. So we're going to start, I'm going to skip this one here, and we're going to use this post here. We're going to start with a front post double crochet. If you don't know what that is, we're going to yarn over and using this bit of the double crochet, we're going to go into there, around the back, poke your hook through, catch your yarn and put it through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and there's your front post double crochet. Now we're going to do a back post double crochet, which I think is a little bit trickier than the front post. So what we're going to do, so instead of going it through the front, you're going to yarn over, you're going to take your hook and you're going to go and poke it through the back. So take your hook and put it through the back, and then you're going to go through the front just like that, around that double crochet post, catch your yarn, pull it through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now find your next post, and that's going to be a front post double crochet. So yarn over, go through, catch your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the next post here, go behind your post and through, catch your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what we're going to do for the rest of the row. In fact, this is what we're going to do, sorry, not for the rest of the row. We are going to do this until we reach this stitch marker. Sorry about that, I'm getting mixed up. We're not doing a whole cardigan of front post and back post double crochets. So front post, and then we're finishing on a back post right here. Well, that's what I'm finishing on. You could be finishing on a front post double crochet, but this is what it looks like at the moment. So we're going to take our stitch marker out and again into that stitch, 3 double crochets just as normal. And then put your stitch marker into the second stitch from your hook, and then keep going with your front post double crochet. So we're going to go into the next one right here after your corner, and we're going to start on a back post double crochet. We're going to start on whatever you finished on here. So mine was a back post double crochet, yours might be a front post double crochet. So mine's back post, so I'm going to do back post double crochet and then into the next different post, back post, and I will meet you back when I get to my stitch marker. So I've reached my corner again. This is what it should be looking like right now. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out of that space, and into that space I'm going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Then I'm going to mark the second stitch from the hook. So this is a little bit different now. I'm not going to do front post double crochets or back post for the time being. So up until we get to our stitch marker here, we're going to be doing double crochets. So it's simple as that. And these stitch markers are making quite a lot of noise, so I'm just going to put my book there. So double crochets all along until you get to your stitch marker. I've reached my stitch marker and I'm going to take that out and make 3 double crochets into that stitch again. And then put my stitch marker into the second stitch from my hook. So then we are back to our pattern of front post and back post double crochet. So into the very next post after your corner, make a front post double crochet and then a bit back post double crochet. So by now you should know the pattern, so you continue until you get to the end and I will meet you back here. So I've come to the end of my row. That's what you should have, and you should have 1 stitch here left over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put double crochet into that stitch there. So then we're going to chain 2 and turn our back, and this is going to be the same. So where you have a front post double crochet, we're going to keep it as a front post double crochet and go into that with a front post, and then next we have a back post double crochet, so into there with a back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post, front post, and so on till you get to your stitch marker. Another stitch before, so you've got your 3 from your corners. So this one is now, even though it's an increase, it's still going to go into our front post double crochets, or it's going to be a back post. So in my case it's going to be a front post double crochet, and then take your stitch marker out and make 3 double crochets into that stitch again, and mark the second double crochet from your hook. So then into this very next stitch here from the corner, I'm going to start with a front post double crochet, because my next one is a back post. If yours is front post, start with a back post double crochet just to keep the pattern going, and then a back post. And so on and so forth. So this is going to be the pattern until our yoke is complete. So when you get to here, remember, double crochets just on the back here. The rest is going to be front post and back post double crochets. So now I'm going to give you your yoke measurements just in case you didn't write them down, and then I'm going to leave you to get your length using the exact same method as we've been doing, which I think you're capable of doing. So our yoke, so newborn is going to be 10 centimeters, 0 to 3 months 10.5, so there's not a very big difference at all with any of them. 3 to 6, which I'm doing, is 11 centimeters, 6 to 9 11.5, 9 to 12 is 12 centimeters, and 12 to 18 is 13 centimeters. So I'm going to meet you back here when I have 10 to 11 centimeters. So I will see you back here when my yoke is that measurement. So I'm back after doing my yoke. So I'm measuring currently at 10 centimeters. So I know my yoke size was 11 centimeters, but because I've got to attach it together, that's going to be another centimeter, so that is totally fine. So next we've got to measure the chest. So we're going to measure from stitch marker to stitch marker, and here are the measurements for the chest. So mine is 24 centimeters. So from there to there, you get your measurement. So I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to measure from stitch marker to stitch marker, and as you can see I'm measuring at around about 22 centimeters, so I'm missing 2 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape measure, measure 2 centimeters, see how many double crochets fit into my 2 centimeters. So I'm going to put my tape measure on at the start of one of my double crochets and see how many fit into 2 centimeters. So I have 1, 2 and a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it 3. So 1, 2 and 3 double crochets, 3 chains underneath each armhole. So I'm going to show you how to attach now. So I need 3 chains. You might need more, you might need less. When I was doing the newborn size, my chest was spot on. All I had to do was add the standard 1 chain underneath each armhole. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 2, we're going to turn, and we're going to carry on with our front post and back post double crochets. Just going to keep following the pattern up until we get to our stitch marker, and instead of making corners this time we're making chains. So I'm going to meet you back here when I get to my stitch marker. It's taken a little bit of time. So I've come to my stitch marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 double crochet into my stitch marker in the double crochet where my stitch marker is, and then I'm going to chain 3. Like I said, you may need more or less. If you get to the right amount, if you get to the right measurement on your chest, always add 1 chain. So then what I'm going to do, chain my 3, I'm going to fold my cardigan, and then I'm going to attach into the stitch marker here. I'm going to attach it with a double crochet, just 1 double crochet, attach that, and then you have your first bit of cardigan attached together. So then we come to our double crochet. So 1 double crochet into each stitch, and I will meet you back when I get to my stitch marker right here. I'm back at my stitch marker, and again I'm going to put a double crochet into the stitch with my stitch marker. So 1 double crochet, and then I'm going to chain my 3, and then I'm going to bring the cardigan together, both stitch markers join them together, and attach into the stitch marker with a double crochet, just like that. And then of course we have our front post and back post. So I'm starting with a back post. And then front post, and so on until you get to the end of your cardigan. Just like that. Okay, so I'm at end of my cardigan, at the end of my row, and I've successfully joined it together just like that. Right, and the next row is going to be the same apart from the chains. So chain 2 and turn your work, and then again just front post and back post up until you get to your chains. Okay, so I have finished my row up until the chains, and you can see you've got a double crochet there now. So do a front post or back post, whichever you're on, right in there, and then we come to the chains. So what we're going to do is just put a double crochet into each of our chains. So that's my first chain, my second chain, and my third, and then we've got our double crochets. This is what it should be looking like right now. I'll meet you when I get to my other chains. I'm back at my chains, and again I'm just going to put one double crochet into every chain. So 1, 2, and 3. Sorry about that, I missed one of my chains. So there we are. And then if you look at it, you've got this double crochet here now. So my second one is a back post double crochet, so I'm going to have a front post double crochet here, and then I'm going to follow my pattern. And I'm going to keep going until I get to the end. So again, I've finished my row. So I would just want to talk to you a little minute about under your arms. So what you can do is you can keep doing this pattern, and you can keep doing it for your chains underneath your arm, right there. Or you can stop with the pattern here and just do your pattern here and keep going with your double crochets here. Now with the newborn that I did the pattern underneath the arm as well. For this one I'm just going to do the pattern to the end of my pattern, and I'm going to do double crochets. I hope you understand that. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to chain 2, turn my cardigan, and I'm starting with a front post double crochet, and then I'm going to continue. So this is actually going to be it for part 1. I'm going to talk you through the length of your cardigan, because this is all you've got to do now, which is really simple. You just follow the pattern up until you get to your desired length. It's a very simple pattern, yeah, it's so effective, it's so nice, it's like nice and spongy as well. So this cardigan would actually be good for like winter, maybe the end of fall. So I'm probably doing it at the wrong time really, because we're in summer. So just coming to the end of my pattern now. And one more back post, and then I come to the chain, the double crochet underneath the armhole. So for these three you could do your front post to back post pattern, or you can do the double crochets like I'm going to do. It is totally up to you, but I wouldn't go past this mark because we want to keep this pattern going as well. So we keep going, and it is as simple as that. And this is what it looks like. So that's what it looks like with the double crochets. This is what it looks like with the front post, which maybe the front post look a little bit better. I'm not sure yet, but it's worth a try. So when you've decided what you're going to do, you need to decide on the length you want. Now to measure the length, you need to measure underneath the arm, right at the top of the armhole here, and you measure down like that. I am going to do my length to 15 centimeters. You can do it however long you want, or however short. So for this cardigan, I'm not going to give you any measurements. For your length, I'm just going to say for the 3 to 6, I'm going to do 15 centimeters on my length. So that is the end of part 1. I hope you found it useful. If you didn't, I would be happy to hear your feedback, or if you've got a problem, you can comment down below, or you can email me directly. I don't mind. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in part 2. Bye.